Right now on News 3 this morning, Saturday, a downtown Madison staple is temporarily closed after a fire, when restaurant goers can expect the Old Fashioned to reopen. Plus, lawsuit stalled. The Milwaukee Bucks player who was the subject of a violent arrest by Milwaukee police in January has postponed filing a civil lawsuit against police for now. And should marijuana be legalized and regulated? It's a question that may be on the ballot this fall. We'll take a closer look.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
And a very good morning to you, and thanks for joining us on News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is June 9th. I'm Josh Ryder with meteorologist Chris Reese, and a big morning here as we finally have the new weekend team together.
Finally. It's taken long enough, but it's good to be here.
Good to be joining you.
That's
and
right.
kind
Welcome.
of a dreary weekend the way it's looking.
It is. It started out that way, but if you have outdoor plans, absolutely no need to cancel those. We did have some showers and thunderstorms move through earlier today. That is now well south of us, pushing through central Illinois, but we'll have to watch what's forming just to the west of the Mississippi River across portions of northeastern Iowa and southeastern Minnesota. That'll move into the western tier of the area as we go through the rest of this morning. Temperatures as you're waking up are in the mid 60s, upper 60s out west. We're going to watch things warm up rather quickly going throughout the day. Oh yeah, that humidity that was gone for a little bit, it's back. You're going to see dew points in the 60s throughout the day, so do be aware of that humidity. But mostly cloudy skies through the rest of the day. No rain through the afternoon until we get you into later on tonight, especially here in Madison. That's when we'll see some of those showers and thunderstorms coming through. First alert traffic. Here's a live look right now at the Beltline and Todd Drive. Moving smoothly. Most of Madison looks like this as of now. You do have your typical slowdowns. Just one coming in from Stoughton Road at the Beltline. Another one coming in from Sun Prairie towards downtown. So just some casual slowdowns, no major issues going on this morning. If you're coming in from any of the suburbs, do know it'll take you about your normal time.
And not a complete washout, which is always
not
good,
a
right?
washout.
All right, Chris, thank you.
No problem.
One of Madison's most well-known restaurants temporarily closed this weekend after yesterday's fire. News 3 was on the scene when first responders arrived at the Old Fashioned on the square. Heavy smoke could be seen billowing from the building around 4. Crews evacuated the building. Fire Chief Stephen Davis says most of the smoke was coming from the back of the building and crews put the fire out quickly.
Both the Old Fashioned restaurant and Harvest restaurant suffered quite a bit of smoke damage because it was a real slow-moving, smoldering fire in an attic space.
The Old Fashioned says a grill hood caught fire, but everyone is okay. According to the restaurant's Facebook page, they will find out more information today, but will be closed until Tuesday at this point. The Milwaukee Bucks player who was the subject of a violent arrest by Milwaukee police in January has postponed filing a civil lawsuit against the force. For now, the filing was set for Friday, but has been postponed until next week. Police body camera footage shows officers tackling and tasing Sterling Brown over an alleged parking violation. Brown was not charged with any crime, which prompted an internal affairs investigation. The Milwaukee police chief apologized for the incident and said an undisclosed number of officers would face disciplinary action. New this morning, the State Department of Health Services is raising its concern about vegetable trays purchased from Quick Trips across Minnesota and Wisconsin. DHS has been investigating a rise in cyclospora infections and found 11 people in Wisconsin and 3 in Minnesota had purchased the Del Monte vegetable trays before getting sick. Quick Trip says it has volunteered to take the vegetable trays off store shelves. A rough start to the weekend on the roads with a handful of crashes Friday in Dane County, resulting in at least 3 deaths. Right now, the lanes on Highway 19 in the town of Westport are back open. This was as close as we were allowed to the scene. 3 people died in the head-on crash around 10:30 Friday morning.
A eastbound vehicle had been observed prior to the crash driving recklessly and passing other eastbound vehicles on the right shoulder, the gravel shoulder of the roadway. Just prior to the crash, the at-fault driver appeared to have lost control and struck another vehicle that was westbound in a head-on fashion.
The highway was closed about 5 hours as crews investigated. The driver of the at-fault car and a passenger of the other vehicle, a minivan, were pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the minivan died at the hospital. And on Highway 14, lanes were closed for a few hours after another head-on crash. This happened near the intersection of 14 and Highway 138. 4 people were taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. All lanes have since reopened. The driver accused of killing a Madison man and injuring his wife in a crash on Midville Boulevard is facing 6 new charges after court documents indicate he had controlled substances in his system. 19-year-old Benjamin Cortez was driving more than 100 miles per hour before he hit a couple walking their dog on April 27th. An amended criminal complaint filed in Dane County says Cortez's blood test came back indicating he had THC and benzoylecgonine, a cocaine metabolite, in his system at the time of the crash. The school year has just come to an end for many in the Madison area, but some parents are already looking ahead to changing start times. Those times for some Madison elementary schools will move earlier, and middle school start times will move later starting in 2019. Parents involved have been advocating for the change since 2016. They argue middle schoolers require more sleep.
A lot of people don't think it's important enough. A lot of people say, well, when I was a kid, I walked uphill both ways, but why?
The first changes for the start times would happen in the 2019 school year, so not right away this fall. Developing this morning, the Rock County District Attorney's Office is now reviewing a case after 5 students were fed brownies laced with over-the-counter supplement in what's being described as an end-of-the-year prank. The DA's office will determine if they will press charges. Clinton police said 3 Clinton high school seniors bought Zyrexin, which is advertised as a sexual enhancer. They baked it into a batch of brownies. 5 other students ate them and 2 got sick. Janesville parents will be at the city council meeting on Monday, urging the city to implement an ordinance against bullying. 2 moms started a petition for the ordinance to penalize bullying. They modeled their proposal off similar ordinances in Monona and Shawano. Both moms say their kids have been bullied, and after a Janesville 6th grader's recent suicide, they want bullying to be taken seriously.
It's important to me because I think bullying has been an issue for a very long time, and I believe it's getting worse and worse, and it's not being taken care of.
The 2 moms met with other parents in Janesville Friday to answer questions about the petition and get more people involved with their case. Right now, Dane County residents could be asked about regulating marijuana on their ballots this fall. An advisory referendum was introduced this week to add the question to the midterm election ballots. The board supervisor who introduced the referendum says the tax revenue collected after legalizing marijuana would help pay for roads and schools and help stop a pattern of racial bias in the justice system.
And if we look at the racial disparities issues we have, specifically in Wisconsin and in Dane County, there's some of the worst in the nation. And this is a common sense measure where we can help address those issues while also addressing a lot of the budgetary issues that we have as well.
Officials say Milwaukee and Rock County are pursuing similar referendums. To be clear, this referendum would just gauge public opinion on the subject. The legislature would need to pass a bill to make marijuana legal. The Elbert Park Farmers Market kicks off its 2nd year this weekend, and organizers are hoping to increase access to healthy food for thousands of people in the Southwest Madison neighborhood and around the city. This year, the market is expecting nearly a dozen exhibits and vendors selling a variety of seasonally available fruits, vegetables, and meat. People who use SNAP, Quest, or Food Share vouchers will be eligible for double dollars, meaning for every dollar they spend, they will be able to purchase $2 worth of qualifying market purchases. The market opens at 8 this morning and runs until noon every Saturday through September 29th. Time now coming up on 8:08 this morning. It's another warm weekend here in Madison, but is rain sticking around? Chris is in next with the first alert forecast as we take a live look over the Capitol on this dreary Saturday morning. Plus, Will Loper's preview of the return of Jodie Foster to movie theaters this weekend as a no-nonsense high-tech healer who's dealing with a French assassin, an arms dealer, and an injured cop. Get the popcorn ready. This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Yeah, it's cloudy and it's a little damp, but it's still a nice morning to be out here on the patio enjoying when it's not raining after the storms that came through last night. Here's a live look downtown right now. Even still, yes, there's some cloud cover, but don't let that deter you from any plans you may have. A lot of the showers and thunderstorms that rolled through earlier are now well long gone, out of town. We are tracking a little bit more in the development of showers and thunderstorms, however, just back to the west, along and west of the Mississippi River Valley. That could play a part in what happens with the weather this afternoon. Temperatures across the area are mainly in the mid and even upper 60s. We zoom out across the entire Midwest. You see where the 70s are starting to creep their way in from the south. That's also where things are a bit more humid. You step outside today, you can feel the humidity a bit more than we have in previous days as the dew points are starting to creep back up. Dew points in the mid 60s and 70s. That's where it starts to get a little bit sticky and uncomfortable outside. Weather track across the Midwest shows you where the showers and thunderstorms are. A lot of them, especially across Nebraska, have since fallen apart. But when these thunderstorms fall apart, they pave the way for new thunderstorms to develop later on. And that's exactly what's going to happen as our stalled out front continues to essentially wobble around back and forth across the upper Midwest with waves of low pressure riding along that. That means the chance for showers and thunderstorms that do develop, especially to our west and southwest going throughout the day. So let's take you hour by hour. We'll watch our temperatures rise to the mid and upper 70s this afternoon. Later on tonight, that's when the next round of showers and thunderstorms does move into the picture, especially towards late tonight and into Sunday morning. So do be advised that tomorrow morning will be a little damp and cloudy as well. Temperatures starting out in the 60s. In terms of severe weather, it's not a widespread outbreak. We still have that marginal risk, especially south and west of Madison. A slight risk has been upgraded to include northeastern Iowa and portions of Grant County. So that's where the greatest chance for some severe showers and thunderstorms are. 59 to 73 as we go through this morning. And then to this afternoon, we'll see temperatures right around 77 degrees for your highs there. Over the next 7 days, we'll watch temperatures begin to rebound a little bit. We are talking 80s moving back into the picture, along with chances for showers and thunderstorms. Josh.
I guess not awful then. Looking forward to some sunshine at some point, though.
Absolutely. We really need to get that sunshine in here.
All right, Chris, thank you.
No problem.
A first alert traffic note for you this morning. If your weekend plans take you near the Capitol, lanes are closed at the West Wash and Proudfit Street intersection. So if you're heading to the farmers market this morning, keep that in mind. Crews are replacing concrete there. The project started yesterday and should last through Monday morning at 7. The lanes will reopen for work week traffic, but the work won't be done starting up again next weekend. The city says that project will take the next 4 or 5 weekends to complete, so remember that for your future plans. Women top line the latest films to hit the box office, and a star-studded group is expected to rake in millions.
$16.5 million in each of your bank accounts 5 weeks from now.
That's a lot.
Ocean's 8 flips the script on the popular heist flick series with Sandra Bullock leading an all-female team in a plot to rob the Met Gala in New York. Analysts expect to get away with $35 to $40 million, taking the weekend title from Solo, a Star Wars story.
Who's gonna take care of me?
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die.
Women also top line the weekend's other 2 wide releases. Toni Collette stars in the horror flick Hereditary, about a family discovering dark secrets in its past. Jodie Foster leads an all-star cast in Hotel Artemis, about a secret emergency room for criminals. Our film critic Will Loper has a preview of both films, tracking to debut with about $6 to $8 million this weekend.
It's heartening to see so many strange new faces here today. I know my mom would be very touched and probably a little suspicious. My mother was a very secretive and private woman.
Toni Collette stars in a movie where a family begins to learn disturbing secrets about its ancestry.
It's Grandma. You know you were her favorite, right? Even when you were a little baby, she wouldn't let me feed you because she needed to feed you.
Hereditary is rated R.
Maybe we finish the toy after the quiz.
Now verify your memberships, and we're off to the races.
The Artemis is a secret hospital for criminals.
I thought you were done with all this.
I got out, but you know how it goes.
I thought this place was a myth.
We've been here for 22 years.
This hospital was built on two things: trust and rules.
The year is 2028. A hospital that only treats criminals finds itself at war with a brutal Malibu mobster.
He's here.
Open the gate.
That's against the rules.
Rules? Without the rule breakers, honey, where would you be?
Hotel Artemis is rated R.
You see that badge? That means I'm a healthcare professional.
Just about 8:17 now. Besides heading to theaters, there's plenty to do around town this weekend. Straight ahead, we're turning from movies to music. That is local music act The Family Business rocking the stage. They're this week's featured act in our Morning Notes series. The news is back in the morning right here on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Lots of clouds right now and temperatures that are in the 60s. We'll see some peaks of sunshine already. The capital trying to reflect a little bit of sunshine in the distance there. Throughout the rest of the day, will remain mostly cloudy with highs right around 77 degrees. Thunderstorm chances moving in overnight. For the next 7 days, we'll gradually warm things up towards the low 80s, along with a few rain chances in there. Tuesday into Wednesday, take a little bit of a breath there. We'll be less humid just a little bit. As we get you towards days 8, 9, and 10, yes, we do have more rain chances and temperatures still in the low 80s. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Our Morning Notes segment continues our focus on local music. And this week we're featuring the Family Business at their most recent show at the Comeback Inn. This local band has been together for more than 13 years, and you're sure to love its rock and roll sound.
Come on, the rock and roll. So we do, rock, blues, a little bit of country, but just like to call it rock and roll.
How we got the name The Family Business was we're all trying to just come up with names. Garrett, the bass player, and Derek, the drummer, their dads were in bands together for a good chunk of their lives. And so the whole rock and roll blues thing has kind of been passed down through the families in that way. When you told me those 3 little words, it is kind of a thing that to a certain extent runs in the families. And we kind of look at the people that come to the shows. There's just a big, huge group of friends that's kind of stuck together for a really long time, so it's become like a family. So the word fits, I guess. Yeah, I breathed and I smoked, never worried how it might endanger me. Eric and Garrett and I went to high school together in Monroe and started it when we were about 16, and then met Derek, the drummer. Senior year of high school, he lived in New Glarus. I think we started playing out when we were 18, 19 years old, stuck together ever since.
We all, I guess, kind of brought our own influences, but we all kind of had the classic rock blues thing in common.
Personally, AC/DC is a big one with Bon Scott, AC/DC, and Zeppelin and all the great classic rock bands. The farthest we've been is Austin, Texas. We did South by Southwest there. A lot of shows in Wisconsin and Iowa and Illinois and Minnesota. You can kick me out at midnight, and in the morning I'll come back to bother. But we'd definitely like to start taking trips out to Colorado and, anywhere they'll have us.
Hey, let's hear it one time loud for the comeback in for letting us come here.
How about that? Thanks to photojournalist Christopher Habaker and producer Matt Clark for putting that together. You can catch the family business at their show in Darlington tonight. They'll be at the 46th Annual Beowulf Motorcycle Club's Canoe Festival at the Lafayette County Fairgrounds. People in Janesville now have a new place to stay active, and it's outdoors. It's opening weekend for the city's new fitness court with 30 different pieces of equipment. You can find it on the corner of River and Court Street in downtown. There are pictures showing 7 different movements people can do for a full body workout. City officials say this is the first outdoor fitness court of its kind in Wisconsin. Local students celebrated the last day of school by making art. Badger Rock Middle School partnered with the Community Unity Art Group and decorated the fence of their community garden. Students at the school helped design the mural with a farm theme. Organizers hope art will be a way to bring students and neighbors together.
Art's for everybody, from the young to the young at heart. So it brings everybody together, and on the last day of school, I think it kind of hallmarks the beginning of the summer, and it's about the family and the community.
The Badger Rock Community Center has events throughout the summer like community markets, exercise classes, and language programs. Time now is 8:25. There's much more ahead on News 3 this morning, Saturday. Coming up next, we're running through this morning's top stories, including the lane closures that could impact your drive to this morning's farmers market. Plus, celebrating culture inside the classroom and out. How Muslims here in the Midwest are balancing the last week of school with the holy month of Ramadan. Stay with us. Right now, Uber wants to know when you've had a few too many drinks, and it's turning to artificial intelligence for answers. The ride-sharing giant's new method of identifying drunk passengers.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is June 9th. I'm Josh Breiter. We'll get a check on your Saturday forecast with Chris in just a moment, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. The old-fashioned on the square will be closed until Tuesday after yesterday's fire caused it to temporarily close. Heavy smoke could be seen billowing from the building around 4 yesterday afternoon. Fire crews arrived and the building was evacuated. Fire Chief Stephen Davis says most of the smoke was coming from the back of the building and crews put it out quickly. No one was hurt, and the restaurant says they will find out more about what happened later today. We'll bring you that update on News 3 and channel3000.com. The Milwaukee Bucks player who was the subject of a violent arrest in Milwaukee by Milwaukee police in January has postponed filing a civil lawsuit against the Force for now. The filing was set for Friday but has been postponed until next week. Police body camera footage shows officers tackling and tasing Sterling Brown over an alleged parking violation. Brown was not charged with any crime, which prompted an internal affairs investigation. The Milwaukee police chief apologized for the incident and said an undisclosed number of officers would face disciplinary action. If you're heading downtown for this morning's farmers market, lanes are closed at West Wash and Proudfit Street intersection. Crews are replacing concrete there. The project started yesterday morning and should last until the Monday morning commute at 7 o'clock. The lanes will reopen for work week traffic, but will start up again next weekend. The city says that project will take the next 4 or 5 weekends to complete, so keep that in mind for your future plans. Meteorologist Chris Reese is here now with your first alert forecast. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Josh. Here is what we're tracking right now. The Storm Prediction Center increasing that severe weather risk later on tonight, especially farther to the south and west. For Madison and Dane County and points surrounding, yes, there's still just that marginal risk for some showers and thunderstorms later to be severe. But as you get towards the southern tier of Grant County up through Crawford County, this is where they've increase that chance for severe weather over to a slight risk. So, of course, we will continue to monitor that. Of course, no major thunderstorms in that area right now. The showers and storms that came through earlier have fallen apart. Even the showers and thunderstorms just to the north and west, they are starting to weaken just a little bit, but we'll watch all of these thunderstorms throughout the rest of the day and how they impact our forecast later. But don't worry, if you have plans outside or on the square this morning, we'll keep things mostly cloudy but dry with highs in the 70s until we get you into those overnight hours. In terms of traffic, things still looking smooth around town. It's going to continue to look that way going through the rest of pretty much your morning unless any major issues pop up. Traffic moving smoothly all through the belt lines. A little bit of a slowdown on Regent Street downtown where they've got some construction and whatnot going on. But if you're headed in from Janesville to the belt line, Sauk City to Middleton, or even from Sun Prairie to downtown, all of the drive times going at their normal speeds. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Your time now, 8:31. New this morning, Uber wants to know when you've had a few too many drinks, and it's turning to artificial intelligence for answers. The ride-sharing giant has published a patent application to identify drunk drivers. It describes an algorithm that will weigh a variety of factors like typos, how precisely a user clicks, walking speed, and the time of day. For example, a rider clumsily typing at 1 a.m. on a Saturday would likely be considered not sober. Uber plans to use that technology to better tailor its rides, either by warning drivers or matching them with drivers with relevant experience or training. Right now, Facebook is facing another privacy problem. 14 million users around the world had their default sharing settings set to the public. The bug affected new posts from May 18th to May 22nd. Facebook says the glitch occurred during the testing of a new feature. After its discovery, Facebook went back and changed the setting for all of those posts by those users during that time frame to private. Affected users are only now getting a notification on the app or website. Facebook says the notification signals a new proactive, transparent approach to problems moving forward. Happening now, Muslims across the globe are observing the holy month of Ramadan, including those still in school. So how do Midwestern classrooms handle students who fast during the holiday? Here's Reg Chapman.
During the month of Ramadan, things inside Al Amal School in Fridley are a little different than other months of the year.
We kind of shifted our schedule because there's no lunch period anymore.
Director of Islamic Studies Omar Ali says it is not required for children to fast during Ramadan. Although elementary students typically don't, middle and high school students petition their parents to participate.
I don't have to fast yet, but it makes me feel happy to do it.
Mumina Mohammed is a 6th grader. She says Ramadan is more than just fasting from before sunrise to after sunset.
Ramadan is also a time where you develop your character, and you basically try to stop foul language or bad actions or watching lots of television, and develop things like patience and kindness and generosity. 9th grader Ikram Omar says fasting helps her empathize with the less fortunate.
The whole point of fasting is for the rich and the poor to be the same. So we kind of feel what the people in Syria or Somalia feel that do not have any food, that are starving the whole time.
Ali believes observing Ramadan helps students focus on what's important.
They tend to be more positive, more focused on their learning, more, nicer towards each other. So it really affects them towards the good.
For 10th grader Ayub Daoud, observing Ramadan is helping him become the best person he can be.
I want to become a nicer person, better person, want to help people out more. Just overall, it's just a month for self-improvement.
Reg Chapman, WCCO 4 News.
Muslim students in Minnesota say they are fasting, studying, praying, and giving back to the less fortunate for about 17 hours a day right now. Students say it helps them build a strong sense of community. Ramadan ends this Thursday, and for some, that's also their last day of school. Time now is 8:34. Teaching is a lot more than grading papers and writing lesson plans. The real-life lessons a local educator is sharing with his students. We'll have this month's top-notch teacher next on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
And the showers and thunderstorms from this morning now well to our south and east. The clouds even starting to thin out just a little bit, but still some thunderstorm activity back to the west. That'll play a role in the weather that occurs later on today. Temperatures will warm up to about 77 degrees or so during the peak heating of the afternoon. Storms arriving mainly around 7 o'clock to our west and overnight. That'll get out of here by the time most folks are waking up on Sunday. A few light showers could be left lingering. And then, of course, you'll have clouds and temperatures that are in the 60s. But for today, we'll watch our temperatures warm up to about 77 over the next 12 hours. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Coming up on 8:39 this Saturday morning. As any teacher will tell you, there's a lot more to helping students than planning out lessons and preparing them for tests. And that can particularly be true for students who aren't sure if they'll graduate with their senior class. That's where people like Nicholas Schmidt come in. Here's Charlotte DeLeste with this month's top-notch teacher.
So let's take a look through. If there was one thing I was never going to do, it was going to be a teacher.
But yet, here's Nicholas Schmidt at Memorial High School teaching.
I never saw myself working in a job like this and loving it so much.
Mr. Nick, as his students call him, is a credit recovery teacher.
I work with kids who are essentially, a lot of them are throwaways, and there's no way for them to graduate. There's no way for them to get their credit. And then they come in here and they work and they grind it out and they get it done.
But he's so much more than what you see here.
I'm teacher, guide, mentor, guidance counselor, social worker, sometimes step into the role of parent.
He's also a builder. He builds relationships with his students, making sure they know he's got their back.
My first name is Nicholas, and it means victory of the people, is what it means, and that's how I've always been. I've been about taking people who are disenfranchised and giving them an equal shot at things.
He's considered a career change. After all, he wears many other hats. He cuts hair at school and fixes cell phones for students he knows can't afford it.
I just decided for myself, like, I can't walk away from this. I want people who feel like they don't belong anywhere else to have a place where they belong. And not just where they belong, but where they can actually strive and they can succeed.
And the impact he's having on his students is simply undeniable.
Honestly, before Mr. Nick, I hadn't really had a teacher that made me believe in myself, that I could do it. And it was so refreshing to be in an environment with somebody who was in your corner.
Without him, I wouldn't be much. I'd just be a kid failing, and I don't like thinking about that, but knowing that that was my past and where I am now is such a great leap, and it's all because of him.
Nicholas Schmidt never imagined himself being a teacher, but because he is, kids are able to imagine a better life.
Just someone who's trying to live my life and change lives, as much as I can along the way.
Have a good day, everybody. Very deserving there. As always, you can nominate your favorite top-notch teacher by heading to our website, channel3000.com. 8:41 right now. Looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we have you covered. A little something for families, music fest goers, and musical theater buffs happening around town this weekend. Your 608 is next on News 3 This Morning, Saturday. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV.
It's a cloudy look from the Edgewater Sky Cam this morning. Looking out over downtown, you see a lot of the clouds out there. Not necessarily the biggest deal this morning, but there is a slight, the smallest chance of some severe thunderstorms and strong thunderstorms that do develop later on tonight, mainly south and west of Madison. The Storm Prediction Center upgrading portions of Crawford and Grant County into the slight risk zone. That's level 2 out of the 5 severe weather levels that do exist. We'll keep an eye on what happens over the course of the day on radar. The storms that were over the area early this morning have since fallen apart. We did have another line of showers and thunderstorms develop across portions of southeastern Minnesota and northeastern Iowa, even though starting to weaken as they move into Wisconsin for now. Temperature-wise, we're in the mid-60s for most of us. 65 here in town, same for the Wisconsin Dells. You get up to Black River Falls at 67, La Crosse at 69. In fact, back to the south and west, that's where we find a lot of those warmer temperatures. Des Moines coming in at 76, Omaha and Kansas City at 77 as of now. Where it's warmer, the dew points are also higher. That means it begins to feel a little bit more uncomfortable out there. You step outside, you say it's humid, your hair starts to get a little bit frizzy if you straightened it. We've all been there. That's the weather if you step outside this morning. We still have some showers and thunderstorms in the picture right now. A lot of those things have fallen apart over the course of time, but each thunderstorm complex that falls apart ends up giving birth to more thunderstorm complexes later on in the day. This is all as we have the stationary front still in play, waves of low pressure riding along that. Those will bring more scattered showers and thunderstorms later on tonight, especially in the south and west where we have that slight risk zone. Into your Sunday, we'll see some clouds sticking around, but eventually some sunshine tries to filter in later Sunday and into your Monday. Temperatures warm from the 60s into the upper 70s for your highs. As we go through the rest of today, those showers and thunderstorms starting to arrive from the west by the time we get you towards tonight, and eventually working their way to the south and east as well. Can't rule out lingering showers by the time you're waking up on Sunday morning. Temperatures then will be in the 60s, but for this morning, we're going to warm up from 59 to 73 degrees. You'll notice your winds out of the east at 5 to 12 miles per hour. This afternoon as a whole, we'll see those highs right around 77 degrees. It'll be very mild, and as I mentioned, you will also see more in the way of humidity. So do keep that in mind with the cloud cover that is in play. The 7-day has gone missing, but as we get back to your next weather segment, I'll make sure I'll show you guys what to expect over the next 7 to 10 days. Josh.
Why don't you come join me at the desk, Chris?
Yeah, that's a good point there.
Hey, and that humidity, when that ruins the hairdo, that's kind of always the...
Yeah, it's something I struggle with all the time, actually. I'm kidding, of course, but yeah.
Probably a little bit more for the ladies out there.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, time now to share what you are sharing with us this morning. Check out this. Augie Augenstein posted this on Instagram. Check that out. The cat, probably trying to avoid the rain.
Exactly, and the cat, I mean, honestly, look, the cat's enjoying her Saturday morning. I think that's the best thing you can say about that.
Who doesn't enjoy a weekend, right?
Us.
Us.
I'm kidding.
We're working, but we're having a good time.
We enjoy work, right?
Yes, we do. Our first morning together here.
That's right.
So what does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 this morning. We love our job, right?
Yes, I love it. I really do.
Well, it is the weekend in the 608.
And here's a look at what's going on around town.
The sounds of summer filled the air at this weekend's Isthmus Jazz Festival, going on at a couple locations. Later this morning, take the kids to enjoy a jazz concert at the Children's Museum on the Square. And tonight, high school and college student groups will take the stage at the Memorial Union Terrace. It's been a busy few days for the fest. Organizers showed jazz films from the 1940s at the Sequoia Library Thursday, and jazz ensembles lined 4 blocks of State Street last night to entertain crowds.
All right, summer has arrived at the Madison's Children's Museum from 10 to 4 today. Check out Summer Palooza with the family. Live jazz music, a drum line, a circus, and a community parade around the Capitol Square will get everyone involved inside the museum, which is free for kids all day. You can sharpen your Lego skills or see a magic show.
Over on the east side, a celebration is going on both today and tomorrow. The Marquette Waterfront Festival takes over Yahara Park Place. Crews are setting up 2 stages for 19 local and touring bands. A dandelion dash for kids will take place later this morning, as well as a Fool's Flotilla for paddlers from Tenney Park to Yahara River tomorrow morning. Both canoers and kayakers are welcome.
And the Frequency is throwing quite the birthday bash to celebrate 10 years of contributing to Madison's music scene. Because at the end of June, the small music club just off the square closes its doors. Last night, it got the party started with progressive metal music. Tonight, it's hard rock, some rocking country, and then some pop punk will finish off the night. The fun starts at 7:30.
Two great options for musical theater this weekend. The Four Seasons Theater brings us 1776 at the Wisconsin Union Theater. The show follows founding fathers John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson in Philadelphia as they declare independence from Great Britain. You can see it both tonight and tomorrow.
And over at the Bartell, Temps the Music, where a group of workers go up against their union-busting bosses and elected politicians. It plays the next 3 weekends and is part of Bartell's 20th anniversary.
And as always, you can pick up a copy of this month's Madison magazine for all of the best events happening in and around the Madison area. Time now is 8:50 this Saturday morning. There is much more ahead here on News 3 This Morning Saturday. Up next, the cattle battle caught on camera inside the California bullfight. That's something you don't see every day. Stay with us. We're back after this. And welcome back at 8:54 this morning. When people think of bullfights, most think of Spain, but we're going to take you to California here. Here's Don Ford with the details.
Something you don't see every day. Another day in Fremont. Yeah, every once in a while we have these days where, you know, some
bulls run amok.
Bulls run amok.
Bulls in a neighborhood fighting in the middle of the street. How in the world did they get here? A local rancher who didn't want to go on camera says the pair were jousting and busted through this fence, easily snapping the chain.
They estimated these were about 2,000 pounds each.
These are big animals. These are not
really big. These are not little, you know, these aren't goats. These aren't sheep. That's what we're usually dealing with. We have, you know, goats and sheep that occasionally show up on a roadway or a corner. And so we're usually able to grab them pretty quickly and find their home.
But in this case?
In this case, it was much more challenging. To
say the least. Police closed roads while the pair chased each other down the street, and when a 2,000-pound bull runs across your carefully mowed yard, you get souvenir footprints, 8 inches wide, 6 inches deep. The owner showed up, and with the help of 7 officers, 2 animal control officers, the bulls were finally herded back up the hill onto their ranch land. Robert King's house butts up against the open space. He sees the cattle often.
We see them up on the hill all the time. They're in our backyard sometimes, right next to the fence, so it's really nice, actually.
The rancher is being fined $100 per animal for failure to control livestock and pay for the damages. Fremont police will be the first to tell you that no, they do not get calls like this very often, but are just glad that everything turned out safely. In Fremont, Don Ford, KPIX 5.
I mean, can you imagine looking outside your window and seeing a bull in your front yard?
I love this story. You know, growing up in Kentucky, you always heard things like bears and wildcats, but a bull, yeah, that one's something new.
That's something that neighborhood's going to remember for quite a while.
Absolutely, they sure will. Now, speaking of memorable moments, we are finally going to show you that 7 to 10 day forecast. Woo! There it is. And of course, we do have that chance for showers and thunderstorms today. You'll see your highs right around 77 degrees. Get this, as we get towards Monday, we start to increase the humidity and temperatures. Highs right around 81. A weak cold front sweeps away some of that humidity Monday and into Tuesday. That's that rain chance there. Temperatures in the 70s on Tuesday, creeping back up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 85 your high on Friday. A slight chance for showers and thunderstorms. And then once we get you towards days 8, 9, and 10, we're still in the low 80s with those thunderstorm chances pretty much just hanging out each and every day. None of these days a true washout or anything like that, but do know that it's summertime. It's hot and humid, and every now and then you'll have to dodge a shower.
I just want some sunshine.
We'll get some. I think there'll be some sunshine in there too.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.